And we are back. How's the chat doing? I see everybody, a couple people saying, "What's up, JML?" JML is currently on assignment, as it were. Hopefully, get back with us pretty soon. Hey, Charlie, how you doing this week?
Good. It's been a
Good,
busy
good.
week. Looking
Yeah, it's been a
forward to
busy
talking
week.
tonight.
Yeah, it's been a busy week here. Uh, um, just talking off the air, coming up on our 1 year anniversary of me joining the channel. I was starting to do shows in June and this July, so kind of excited here. I started with Money in the Bank last year, so that's pretty good. Okay, how much wrestling have you? I know you didn't watch a lot of stuff this week, but how much have you watched over the last week? What did you see? Did you watch anything in
I
Collision?
watched all last week. I watched all last week's
All
shows.
right.
I haven't watched Raw yet this week.
Okay, so you got caught up on the weekend. You got caught up in SmackDown and Collision and all that stuff.
Yep.
I'm gonna assume you didn't get. Did you see any of the pay-per-view on Sunday?
No.
Okay. Yeah. As I brought up in the show, I did make my big trip to Toronto this past weekend. I'll talk a little bit about it to start us off. So yeah, I want to shout out all my friends up there in Canada from Post Wrestling family, Poison Rana, the BD. They made me feel right at home. We had a cool weekend there. We had a nice little apartment we stayed at. We called BSK House. So shout out to Brandon, Sino, B Detroit. Thank you guys. I'm sure they're not watching right now, but if they ever get back and watch this, they'll appreciate the shout out. Yeah. So we had. What do you think of the second week of Collision?
Good. It was a quality show.
Yeah, it was setting up the next night's pay-per-view, but they had that main event was pretty fun to be at live, the 8-man tag. Obviously Punk was getting mega heat there in Canada, and he was playing right into it.
Yeah.
If you notice, he was doing everything. He was playing to the crowd. He's doing the leg drop. He's going like he was loving it, playing that heel, being able to heel it up for the crowd, and they gave him that reaction. There was a little bit in pockets. You had some mixed stuff there. Anytime anybody tried to cheer for him, they would boo them. So it was kind of fun. My first time in the, like I said, in Toronto, first time at Scotiabank, used to be the Air Canada Center. So yeah, it's pretty cool there. Collision, it looks like the numbers didn't do as well the second week. Not that I'm surprised. It's kind of tough on a Saturday. And thankfully for them this week, Money in the Bank is on early, so there won't be any conflicting going head to head.
Yeah.
I'd hate to see what it's going to do on a SummerSlam Saturday, for example. We'll see. Yeah. So anyway, had a good time. We had our Forbidden Pour event pre-show and the post-show. Great turnout. Sold out. It was awesome. Live Q&A from Post Wrestling from John and Wade. That was great. We did our trivia games. We had a gauntlet, a scramble match to see who would challenge me. And shout out to Andrew McDonald for winning that. Nice to meet him finally. And I don't know if you can tell by the shirt here, your boy is still reigning, defending. I don't know. I don't have the bloodline, but I have you guys. But anyway, shout out to all the my friends this weekend for showing me a good time. Like I said, you didn't see the pay-per-view, but it was fun to be alive. I haven't watched it back yet, just some clips, but very strong. Obviously, very strong card.
I heard there was match of the year candidates.
What's that?
I heard there was some match of the year candidates.
Oh, sure, for sure. I mean, everybody's mileage may vary, but yeah, obviously, the one everybody was looking forward to is Danielson Okada, that strong main event. Although we did find out later that Ryan broke his arm about 10 minutes into the match and continued wrestling because he's a maniac. Don't know how he did that. Putting all these submissions on, and in the end, a kind of shocking win by submission for Danielson over Okada. Obviously, setting up maybe a rematch, perhaps in Japan. But he's going to be gone for some time now, obviously, with a fractured form. It's a clean break. I don't know if you saw the x-ray. So, yeah, he's going to be gone for a couple months. He's been banged up lately. Anyway, didn't this happen, unfortunately.
I heard it ended up worse than earlier reports stated.
Yeah, it was a clean break.
Yeah.
And you can tell is that he's such good at selling. It was kind of tough to tell if he was selling, if it was real. But the way he was favoring that arm and not lifting it at the end of the night, I was kind of wondering what happened there. But yeah, unfortunate news there. Seems like we've had a lot of that lately. People getting hurt. We heard reports this week. Actually, that reports. Grayson Waller himself came out and said he broke his leg in that his last match with Carmelo. We did see him kind of favor that leg on the attempt. He went for his little cutter that he jumps into the ring with. So yeah, wondering if anybody's wondering why he's just been doing all these, Grayson Waller effects. He's currently recovering from that broken leg, but hopefully soon he'll get back in the ring. Yeah, so there's been a lot of this unfortunate happening lately. We got Indy Hartwell it happened to. Definitely some strong matches on the show. I mean, I know we've talked about maybe people didn't know there was not a lot of hype behind some of these things, but it delivered in ring. Being there live, great crowd. Obviously, that was the main event, but the match everybody's talking about is the second Omega Ospreay match. Obviously, rematch from Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah, it was pretty insane. It's like 40 minutes of nonstop action. May not be everybody's cup of tea, but and I may not be the biggest fans of all these guys, but you know what? It delivered. It was strong. Who's on the chat here? Anybody? I don't think anybody watched the show besides me. It seems like, but anyway, I was there. Yeah, so that was definitely a strong match of the year candidate. I know we've got some other ones we'd like to talk about. We'll obviously we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll do a half year awards or something coming up if we feel like what we thought our favorite matches are so far this year. But definitely on the list there for sure. Anyway, I don't want to go too much into that because this isn't a Money in the Bank preview show, but I just wanted to touch a little bit on my experience. So thanks again to everybody out there. It was great meeting all you guys. Shout out my boys at BSK for sure. Anyway, so we've got Money in the Bank 2023 coming up this Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Great time for the rest of us. A little lunchtime wrestling action, I guess, or midday action, if you will. I know Charlie's planning on watching this live, and I hope everybody in the chat to see if they're into this. But yeah, so we got a good show coming up. Obviously, this our last big stop before SummerSlam on August 5th, which is early again this year. So a lot of stuff will be decided. Yeah, obviously we didn't talk about Raw. You didn't watch it much, but anyway, it was more hype for this than NXT again last night. I will shout out NXT. There was actually a really strong main event. Obviously, believe it or not, Baron Corbin, Carmelo Hayes had a heck of a match last night. Probably Corbin's best match in a while. He also even brought back his old
I heard
music, his look, Lone Wolf, and that was kind of cool to see. That's even awesome. If you're not a big fan of him, it's like a little throwback. The crowd appreciated it. Carmelo having a big week, had a match on Raw this week with Finn, so that was pretty cool to see. But we'll see what happens from there. But obviously, he retained in a strong match. A lot of people were worried he was going to lose, but the crowd was really into it. Kind of reminded me of that time Bayley fought Eva Marie in NXT, and everybody was freaking out because they thought she was going to lose the title. That was pretty good. I do recommend checking that match out. They also had the opener was pretty good too. Tiffany against Thea Hale was a fun match. Obviously, Tiffany retaining, and then we had the long-awaited return of Andre Chase, which got a big pop. Anyway, we'll talk more about that stuff in the coming weeks. So, Money in the Bank 2023. Let's get into it, guys. All right, we're going to start off. Well, actually, I could say coming up on SmackDown, we've got a couple pay-per-view worthy matches coming up on Friday.
Yeah,
from London, which I kind of dig the idea of them, making it a big SmackDown. We're going to get a tag title match. We have Sammy and Kevin against Pretty Deadly. We're getting the women's title match, actually, Asuka against Charlotte on SmackDown. So some strong matches this Friday. You guys should check it out. I don't know if you want to make your predictions on those matches, but what are we thinking? What are you thinking on these title
matches?
Yeah, what do we think about these title matches? Tag title, I said Pretty Deadly challenging Kevin and Sammy. What are you thinking?
I think both champions that are defending will retain, but
okay. Yeah, it should be fun to see this tag title match. Like I said, they're over there in the UK, right? Pretty Deadly is going to be going home. It'll be interesting to see how they react. I'm sure Sammy and Kevin are going to be mega over there, but I'd like to see how they get. They've been handled very well since their call up.
Oh, definitely.
Getting a lot of TV time and making the most of it. I think they're going to be a staple. They'll be a staple of this division. It looks like we're getting a stronger tag division lately. A lot of teams stepping up, so it's always good. Maybe we'll see some more teams coming up eventually from NXT, hopefully. Yeah, Charlotte and Asuka. You're right. I don't really expect a title change, but you never know. But I think that program is just getting started, probably. Anyway, we'll get into the pay-per-view. So as of now, we have 7 matches assigned, unless anything changes. So let's get into it here. No particular order. I'm just going reverse from the list I've got on here. We got the Intercontinental title match. We got Gunther against Matt Riddle in a one-on-one match for the Intercontinental title. I know you're the biggest Riddle fan in the world, so what do you think about this match?
Gunther will hopefully have a slap fest going on against Riddle and retain his championship.
Yeah, I expect it to be a pretty wild match. All joking aside, whether or not you like Riddle's character or not, I think him going against Gunther is going to be a fun match. Obviously, Gunther's been on this great tear of a reign here since he's been IC champion over years, so we hope to see him retain here, but it should be a good match. I don't know what we're doing with Riddle after that, but we'll see. We'll move on just announced this week. We've got the women's tag titles. Well, actually, last week we had Ronda and Shayna unify the titles with the NXT titles. So we've got only one set of women's tag champions. So Ronda and Shayna will be defending against the former champs, Raquel Rodriguez and the returning Liv Morgan. Obviously, they never actually lost the titles. They had to relinquish them due to Liv's injury. She is back now. So it makes sense for them to go to this match when they get the rematch. I don't expect them to win it back. I don't know. What do you think about this match?
I think Liv is prematurely coming back from that injury, and I think this match will show that. I think Ronda and Shayna will retain the championship.
Yeah, I agree on that. Raquel's actually had a pretty good run for herself since she's been on her own here the last month. Even the other night, it was kind of a quick match with Ronda on Raw, but it was a pretty good sprint of a match. So hopefully they figure out something else after this. I don't think this team is really, it's kind of a thrown together team. They may be enjoying it, but I'd like to see them, move Raquel into a serious role. We've been talking about her turning heel for a while. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. Funny, I should bring it up before we touched on Forbidden Door. We talked about a heel turn we've been talking about for months here. Jungle Boy finally making that turn. So,
Jungle Boy turned heel at Forbidden Door.
Oh yeah. So we had he was challenging Sonata for the IWGP title. Obviously, he didn't win it. He had Hook with the corner. They were leaving. The Hook was raising his hand, and he turned around and just clotheslined him, which apparently was enough to murder Hook because the guy was out.
Oh wow.
He just kind of stood over his body and just started mockingly doing the little crowd waving hand dance. So they kind of telegraphed it last week that since him and Hook started teaming again, he was like, "Oh, this is my best friend." It was like very heavy handed. The crowd's been kind of almost ready to turn on him, so it's probably a good time to turn him heel. I'll give him that. I didn't want to spoil it for you, but obviously you're not going to watch it. I didn't want you to be confused and turn on Dynamite and see.
I'll catch up tonight. I'm sure they'll go over.
We'll see. Young Jack. We'll see. I was hoping. I don't know if he's going to get maybe a rock cover of Tarzan Boy as his new theme. We'll see. I don't know. Tony's been on a roll lately. He did get Final Countdown for Brian on Sunday, at least for one match. So that was kind of cool. Anyway, back to the match. So yeah, we're assuming that the Shayna and Ronda will retain here. Okay. We'll get into singles match here. Kind of a fun match. We got Cody Rhodes, Dominic Mysterio. They've had a fun little mini feud. Obviously, we're all waiting for Brock to return and set up this SummerSlam match. That's probably going to happen. Yeah. So do we think Brock's going to show up on Saturday and either cause Cody a match or attack him for this match?
I don't think Brock's going to cause Cody a match against Dominic Mysterio.
You think he attacks him after the match? Is he
going to be there? He could.
Okay.
I love how Dominic thinks since he beat Akira Tozawa, he's ready for Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, it was a great look. That was great. This is why. No, actually, you know what? Yeah, it'd be weird for him to do that, but you know what? I wouldn't mind it if Brock cost him the match, and then Dominic would be bragging about how he beat Cody Rhodes until then Cody gets to destroy him after he moves on to the next program. We've obviously got some creative stuff going on, keeping Cody away from the titles picture, but. Fun little program. You've got, obviously their top baby face, even though he's not the champion, against one of their most over heels in Dominic. It's funny. He just came out in an interview this week saying that he was never supposed to stick around after that match with Rollins. They wanted him to go down on NXT. That never happened. It's probably for the better, as it turns out. He was able to develop this character, and he's been on fire. Listen to the reactions he gets every week.
Yeah.
Love Dominic. So this should be a fun match. Just these two taking on each other. Let's see. All right, we've got. Well, I won't get to the Money in the Bank matches. We'll move on to which probably will be the main event, but I'll talk about it here. We've got what they're calling the Bloodline Civil War. So we've got obviously Roman and Solo against the Usos, match we've been expecting for a while. And a lot of people probably think, maybe it should have happened at SummerSlam, but I'm like, I don't think they're gonna not have Roman defend the title at SummerSlam, so it makes sense to have this year. So what are your thoughts on this match, and who do you see taking the win here?
I couldn't tell you. I really don't know what direction they're going to go with this.
Right, there's a lot of.
I'll go with heart over head and say Usos.
Usos. So are they going to pinning their brother? You think, or we're gonna? We are all assuming they're going to take a loss. we could see them taking the win over Roman, and then Roman being upset because Solo lost. Maybe he loses Solo that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. Because I know we're moving on to something at SummerSlam. So Roman would. I don't think anybody's coming out else to challenge him. So we're assuming maybe one of the Usos is going to challenge him at SummerSlam, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So if that's the case, it would make sense for them to win here. Because if they lose, it kind of just resets everything. I mean, I could see them winning since Roman did lose last month at the pay-per-view, even though he wasn't pinned. Maybe he wouldn't lose 2 months in a row, him and Solo. It doesn't really matter. We're getting to the next step regardless here. Depends on whether or not they're ready to move Solo away from Roman. Because obviously if he loses another match, he's going to want to get rid of him, even though he's all he got left. Or maybe he'll want to hang on to him. All right, I'll play contrarian and say Roman does get the win here. Or actually, I'll say Solo gets to win. While Roman almost loses. I'll say Solo gets the pin, saving Roman from certain defeat, and then he takes the pin, maybe with a little blind tag, little Samoan Spike action. So Roman will continue to get to brag, but it wasn't him who get the win, so it'll eat at him a little bit. I'll just say that. Although obviously I could see them getting the win and starting continuing this angle. But either way, should be an interesting, hot crowd. It'll be an interesting match. They probably will have to.
I definitely see Jay versus Roman at SummerSlam.
Yeah, either way, no matter who wins this, we can get to that. And it's logical. And I just want to enjoy this match. It doesn't really matter to me who's going to win this. I just want to sit back and see what happens. Like we've been with this whole story. So that should be a fun one. It may as well close the show. I don't know yet, but it could. And I wouldn't argue
close the show.
I wouldn't argue against it. So, we're going. The only world title match we got. We'll go to that next. So we've got the brand new, not brand new anymore, month-long new World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins defending against Finn Balor. They've heated up this program pretty quickly in the last couple of weeks. Actually, kind of good, making Finn seem like a legitimate challenger. Supposedly, so I kind of agree. And if that's true about Vince changing the idea last week to having attack, he's right. They're heating. You got to put some heat on him. And Balor's had some big matches lately, but he's come out short a lot of them, including Mania against Edge. So I think he kind of needed some heat back. So him getting that win over Carmelo on Monday, a lot of people didn't like that, but I understand why. Still NXT champion, still not up, so it's not going to hurt him that much. And also he needed the heat. So yeah, it should be a good match. Now, conventional wisdom would tell us that Seth's retaining since he just won the title. But can you see a scenario where Finn does win the belt here?
No, I don't see Finn winning this. I see him putting on a good enough match to not lose placement on the totem pole. But Seth Rollins is retaining.
We think we're maybe using this to further this pseudo breakup within the Judgment Day. I know there's been a lot of dissension. Do we see some interference by Priest? Well, he probably not. He's going to be in the Money in the Bank match, but something backfire. I don't know, maybe Dominic. We're pretty much going with all favorites here, but I could see I don't know if they would do it. It would be just to do another rematch in another month, and I don't know if that's a good idea. Obviously, we'll talk in a second about the Money in the Bank match, men's Money in the Bank match, but Seth did just win it. I mean, he doesn't have to keep it. He could Richard win. I mean, the way the story's going, they're referencing him winning the Universal title but being injured by Seth in the match. Kind of weird because he's the heel, he's the baby face, and they're kind of telling the story, and Seth was like laughing it off. I'm like, I don't know, it's a little weird because he does have a major gripe here. He never got his rematch for the longest time. So I don't know. It should be interesting. I mean, the match should be good. Obviously, we're expecting. You got two of the best out there going 1-on-1, so it'll be a hot crowd. I'm gonna go with some kind of disputed finish, but I think Seth retains. But I think some kind of miscommunication within Judgment Day, something happens. Do I see? Is there a chance he can lose it? There's a chance. I'll never say never. I wouldn't do it right now, but I mean, I can make an argument for putting the title on Finn too, if they decide to go that way. Anyway, we'll move on here. We're going to go to our two Money in the Bank matches. We'll go to the men's since we were just talking about Priest. So we got the men's Money in the Bank match this year, and we've got Damian Priest Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight, Santos Escobar, Butch, and and Logan Paul, of course, our boy, added to the match late. They've promoted this pretty well. Logan obviously had that funny promo we talked about in last week's show. We everybody in the chat's going to know what we're going to say right now and who we think should win this. We've been talking about this for months, but I'm just going to assume you're not changing your mind.
No.
So Logan Paul goes up here. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
And
I'd hate for the invitation spot to be the indication of the winner every year, because we saw it last year with Austin Theory, and we're seeing it again this year with Logan Paul.
Well, it wasn't the same night of it though this time, so at least it was pre.
Whatever happens, it all comes down to Damian Priest, LA Knight, and Logan Paul. It's going to be one of those three. If they swerve and make it someone else, I'd be shocked. But it's going to be one of those three.
We assume it's good. Yeah, I mean, usually it's better for a heel to win this. We talked about Knight, who's been kind of teetering on that edge for a while. A lot of people want him to win this, and I wouldn't argue with that either. He's hot right now. What are you going to do otherwise? I just don't know. It's tough because we don't know what they're going to do with this briefcase, considering, I don't think they're going to go after Roman or they're going to go after Seth. So is it going to be a Raw guy that wins? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Obviously, if Logan does take the win, we could see him cashing it in on Seth at some point.
Yeah.
They're not being that night or on the next night on Raw or something, or Monday on Raw or something like that.
SummerSlam.
Setting up a rematch. Obviously, Seth, even though they had a match in WrestleMania, I could see them having a rematch. There's people obviously who thought maybe they're setting up something with him and Ricochet since they had that spot in the Rumble. But I mean, that'd be a fine mid-card match at SummerSlam, but I think I want more than that. Unless unless you somehow get a kind of a multi-man match for the title. Maybe he cashes in and then Seth asks for a rematch, but then Ricochet jumps. I could see like something kind of multi-three-way format way. Yeah. Maybe Bad Bunny will show up and challenge him. We joked about. I wouldn't be against it. I saw some people. There's some rumors. I don't. How we don't like to believe the stuff we see, but I did see a report, some sort of report today, that there was a lot of people internally pushing for Logan to win the title. And I wonder, when I saw that, I'm like, I wonder if they meant by people internally they're talking about me, you, and JML. But I don't think. But we've been talking about this, I think, since last fall when we first pitched that he win the Rumble, which obviously unfortunately didn't happen due to injury. But I'm glad he's in the match. I enjoy how much heat he gets, and people are like, no, you can't do that. That's when you know you got people.
And when a guy gets this much heat and finds a shortcut to the championship, it's only going to make things better.
Money. They don't seem to get that ever. For people that call themselves smart fans, they don't seem to understand the business.
No.
They get really into, it's not right. I'm like, it's a work, guys. You're supposed to hate him. You don't have to be a fan of the guy, what he does in his regular life to enjoy what he's done so far in the WWEs. So yeah, this should be one of the more fun matches. You'll see some. Hopefully, everybody gets a moment to shine here. Obviously, we talked about who we think it's going down to. We don't think Escobar is definitely not probably going to win this. We got three guys that, and even Priest. He's been getting some main events on Raw. He's lost a lot of matches. I don't know if they're going to put a thing on him. They talked about, Knight being older. Priest himself is already in his 40s. I don't know if that means anything. Whatever. I just want to see a fun match here. I hope there's no last second swap thing again. They've done that a little too much over the last couple of years.
So are you going Logan Paul on this match too?
Am I going to go Logan Paul? It's almost too obvious though. Even though this is what I want. I want him to win. But it's almost too obvious.
So
I don't know. See, that's the thing.
It's okay. I'm completely clueless on the women's Money in the Bank.
It's tough. Knowing that, the final call, even though we have, Triple H supposedly charged, Rich is getting more influence as you knew he would. So that being the case, that's the wild card there. And he's usually one to go with the hot hand too. And so I could see him actually pulling the trigger on Logan Paul for that reason. So my official prediction is Logan Paul, although my second runner-up, would not be surprised, would be LA Knight. Okay. I would be happy either way, although I think we'd probably be happier with Logan Paul. I'll just say it like that. Which will take us to the women's match that Charlie just referenced, not knowing anything about. And it's true, we've got two strong champions right now, so who knows. So we've got the women's Money in the Bank. We've got Zelina Vega, Becky Lynch, Zoe Stark, Bailey, Io Sky, and Trish Stratus. I don't think there's anybody else being added to this match, as far as I know.
All I can say is Becky Lynch already made the mistake of pulling down the briefcase, so she's not winning.
I mean, she doesn't really need it either. I mean, then again, who's to say? We got two strong champs, like we said. We got Rhea and now Asuka, unless she loses to Charlotte. I don't know what they're going. I'm not sure where we're going.
Does Zoe Stark let Trish win?
Does she win it and give it to Trish? Yeah, that's a good question. That could be something. Although I think we all think we're heading to another Becky Trish match at SummerSlam.
Zoe Stark win.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't mind her getting it for sure. Like giving her somebody newer, a little rub. Just the idea that she's going to give it to Trish and let her cash in. They can tease that for a while.
Yeah.
I do know. We know every year they tend to like have one person cash in the case right away, and then the other person holds on to it for a while.
Yeah.
Usually it's the women's that cash it in right away of late. But I don't know. We've seen the last couple of years we've seen the women's cash in right away. So last year we saw Liv the night of cash in. 2 years ago, Nikki Cross cashed in the night after. So
I think it's going to be different this year. I think the woman's going to hold on to it longer than the man, and I think Logan Paul's going to cash in at SummerSlam.
Okay, so then you're saying not knowing who's going to win the match, who are you going to go on record and pick here? Don't worry, we're not putting money on it, so it's okay.
I see it going either Zoe Stark or Trish Stratus. I don't know who I.
Yeah, it's just I like the fact they added the star power. Having that kind of star power in this match is good. It's basically, I think I said last week. It's like Becky against all the people that she doesn't like, and then Zelina Vega randomly in there.
Yeah,
obviously we got something going on. They've been teasing a breakup with Io Sky and Bailey. Dakota Kai being out now for God knows how long is probably hurting this whole thing. But I could see this match being used to break them up. I think a lot of people see a big babyface run in Io Sky's future. I mean, although we can always see Bailey go back, it's been a while. I'm gonna go. See, this, like I said, this is the tough one. It would make sense for Zoe to win. So she's the new person they're pushing, and they have this whole thing with Trish. But again, we see probably they're having their rematch at SummerSlam because I don't know how long Trish is sticking around. I know she was sticking around at least through SummerSlam. Yes, I don't see that. I mean, the only realistic options I see here is either Zoe or Trish, like you said. Becky, I don't think, even though she's got the credibility, I don't think they would give it to her. Or maybe Io Sky, maybe getting the upset win. So you said Zoe, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going with Zoe. I mean, I would do that too. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be contrarian. I'm gonna go with Io Sky, and that sets up their breakup. I'm gonna go with Bailey getting jealous of her. Maybe she costing her the cash in. I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
I think we need to heat up Io because I think the money match is Io and Asuka, and then I think you can build to that long term if you keep the title on Asuka for a while.
Yeah,
I think that's a money match right there. A lot of people have been looking forward to seeing that match, and I can see it happening. Is that a Mania match? Possibly. We'll see. So I'll just pick Io because I'm a fan. But obviously, if Zoe wins, I would think it was a good idea too. Yeah, so it's not 100%. Everything is so predictable in the show. Some of it seemingly is, but these big matches, at least there's a little bit of intrigue, which I like. We don't know for sure. I'm kind of over the Money in the Bank concept as a whole, but the matches are usually fun at least. It's fun to speculate because we got some time left for SummerSlam. I don't know. It's like we said, we're assuming Roman against Jay maybe, or maybe both of them. I don't know. But what is the rest of the stuff?
Threat match. That would be something.
Could have that. I mean, we don't know what we're seeing on the other side. We don't know if Seth retains. Who is he going to face? We talked about a possible cash in, but who would he defend it against? Does Dom get the win and then wind up taking on Seth at SummerSlam, and that's when the cash in? I don't know. Hey, Dom would get a lot of big heat. I wouldn't mind seeing him in a big title match. But there's a little bit of intrigue there with Judgment Day. We said they seemingly are teasing some dissension. So I don't know about all that, but this should be a fun show. I think the chat's talking about different cards and stuff. Hopefully they're getting a nice. Yeah, that's right. JML is getting it in Washington, so it'll be even different, I think, as far as the time zone. I'm not sure 100% now which time zone that is, but here we go again. We'll have to talk about that. Yeah, so I'm assuming the chat's not really talking about this, so hopefully if you are watching out there, you will enjoy Money in the Bank this weekend. Obviously, we got Dynamite coming up tonight, fallout from this week, and they got to start moving towards. Well, we got a couple big shows. You have All In, followed by officially announced this past weekend. All Out was officially announced, which is a week later. The actual pay-per-view, still not sure what All In is going to be on anything. Is it going to be pre-tape? We don't know anything about that yet, so we'll find out. But obviously, All Out is actually the big show. Is staying in Chicago, actually Chicago proper this time, because it's going to be at the United Center, finally moving from the Sears Center / Now Arena in Hoffman Estates to Chicago proper, which is a good thing because I didn't really like that place when I went there.
What's the date for All Out?
Was that? All Out is the day before Memorial Day. It'll be September. I have to look at the date right now. September 3rd or 2nd? When is that Sunday? They obviously are sticking with the Sunday pay-per-views now for good, with the Collision being on Saturdays. So that was officially announced for September 3rd, 2023 at the United Center. And this time the Dynamite leading into it is actually going to be at the Now Arena.
That's the one AEW pay-per-view that I always make sure I watch. So
All Out? Okay. Yeah, it's kind of been one of their big. Usually it's Double or Nothing / All Out is like their two biggest shows. Although we've seen some big moments at actually last couple of years at Full Gear, they've had some big title changes as well. But yeah, it's kind of been their big thing.
I feel like All Out is their WrestleMania.
Yeah, because All In being the first ever, pilot for AEW essentially. Although we've seen some big moments, but it seemed like that it's usually built towards All Out. Last year it was all built to Punk's return. We'll see what happens. He's had a couple matches. Yeah, I think they're probably gonna have to turn him full heel soon. I think they will, but for now they're gonna enjoy just playing it by ear and see how the crowds react.
It would be great if Punk won the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament and then turned heel. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, he did advance Saturday, so he's going to semifinals. I could see him winning this, or the two things I could see happening: either him winning it or losing to somebody in the finals. But he's definitely going to the finals.
Yeah,
and him going to the finals in Canada and winning, the Owen tournament. Well, I mean, he is a Hart fan, so it would make sense. But maybe going over and cheating to win in the finals and doing the full heel turn, it'll be fun because Chicago is still going to cheer him. So it's kind of fun. It's okay. We like having somebody over. They're booing the fact that they're booing him. They're being worked again. It's great. This is why we missed having him around. I know some people say that they don't want to see him. They're not looking forward to it. I mean, all I know is his pay-per-view match the other night was pretty solid. He delivered. So, I mean, I enjoyed his antics. So we'll see what happens with old One Bill Phil. But or apparently they were in a separate size of the locker room, the latest scuttlebutt, which I don't know. At this point, I'm starting to think this is come on. It can't be real. And if it is, I mean, these are grown men. I don't know. Can you imagine going to work and having to be in a different part of the building? What we got
ridiculous.
Here? Ridiculous. He might have felt like he did. He's been busy lately. He'll be back pretty soon to tell us how wrong we were on this show, I'm sure. Hopefully pretty soon we'll let you all know. Obviously he'll let you all know when he's ready to start up again, when his many programs here on the channel. Hopefully we'll have some other content coming up as well. We've talked off air. We'll let you guys know. Anything else you want to talk about, Charlie, this week? Anything else you're looking forward to? You gonna play Fight Forever?
I'm actually gonna check out Dynamite tonight.
Okay. You'll pick up Fight Forever tomorrow? I know.
I'm 50-50 teetering on picking it up.
Yeah, I did pre-download. I'll have to check it out in a little bit. I've heard it's solid, but yet a little lacking. Maybe they're going to add more to it. It's when I heard the word I'm hearing. Thank you, Dickie Bird. Is like game is shallow. Like it looks good, but there's a lot of stuff that could have been in. Maybe they're going to add. Their idea seems to be they're going to add as it goes along, which is fine.
Okay.
What I'm hearing so far, the crate mode is very, very basic. You can't. There's no community creations. There's no logo.
Yeah, that's right.
It's very old school. That's that's a little bit disappointing. Obviously, some of the great creations we've seen. Yeah, I mean, considering the community creations we get into the 2K series are just insane, literally including AEW, probably in fact looking better than some of the models in this game.
You could probably make a better AEW game on WWE 2K.
I mean, people have. What I've seen before, some people have. But hey, if it plays fun, that's all that matters. I'm going to see how it is. Whatever. It's nice that it finally came out. People are excited. Hey, good for that.
Yeah.
Good for them getting a game out. It's a little disappointing in some regards. You have, like 7-second entrances here, so it's very throwback.
Yeah, I heard it was.
I mean, I heard people talking about, you can have 7 titles. I'm like, yes, because they got like 5-second entrances. It's kind of hard to program a full entrance with that many belts. We already see the issues that happens in 2K with just 2 belts. I can't imagine them trying to have a 7-belt entrance. I don't know. Whatever. If it's over the top, that's fine because that's what we expect.
I heard it's arcade.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what we kind of expected and we kind of wanted. So I'm hoping that hopefully they can work if their plan indeed is to just add on to this as they go along and update it. That sounds like a cool idea. 2K is chugging along. We still got 2 DLC packs to go. Maybe by the time.
I also heard it's very easy to pick up and play.
That's a good. That's all you like to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of think 2K's gotten better with the controls lately, where it's easy to pick up and play, but it's a little more complicated at times. Obviously, we still have some DLC to go there. Maybe by the time the last DLC pack comes out, maybe we'll know what happened to Bray Wyatt. But he's going to be in the game in the last one in August. But we'll see. Anyway, if you guys are playing the game, hope you enjoy it. If you're watching the action this weekend, hope you have a good time. We'll be back hopefully next week. Talking about what we saw at Money in the Bank and what's going on afterwards and our trip on the road to SummerSlam. And then before you know, we'll be on the road to Survivor Series, which means we're right around the corner from Rumble and Mania season again. Before you know, once you get to July, the year's pretty much over. So pretty soon we'll be talking about WrestleMania 40 in Philly, which I do plan on attending. I don't know about you, but
yeah, I'll be there.
We'll definitely have to hook up. Maybe we'll do a quick live stream from Philly. We'll shoot some shots for what we're doing over there. Can't say anything for JML, but if he wants to join us for a stream, for sure. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for all your support. Thank you for being active in the chat, even if you have no idea what we're talking about. We do appreciate you just tuning in.
Thank you, everybody.
JML will be back soon with some fresh new content for you, and hopefully, like we said, we'll be back with one of these shows. We'll do some kind of retro review coming up, maybe some other ideas. We'll talk more about that. But thanks again. Good night. Goodbye. I don't have any final words for you, but here comes the money, I guess. Good night, guys.